Hi folks, this is Denny over at TheraThink. Today we're going to walk through a quick extended session billing guide for mental health providers. You can head over to TheraThink or Google and type in extended sessions billing guide TheraThink to figure out how to get to this exact page. But in essence, what our main focus here today is going to be to ensure that we are able to accurately code for and bill extended sessions for mental health providers. Before we start, I want to point out one common mistake that I see providers coding incorrectly, and that is using units, which one would think would explain the number of minutes or hours a session would take place, using units incorrectly. You almost always, in every case, want to use a unit of one, and you want instead to use the appropriate add-on code associated with the time length of the session that is taking place. A typical session for a lot of folks is a 90-minute session. And the common misconception is that um, those sessions require an add-on code. Actually, as you'll note, 90837 is for up to 89 minutes of therapy. Typically, it's going to be your 60-minute session, 55 minutes with some notes for a client. So it's worth noting that extended sessions only occur when a session is more than 89 minutes. We'll talk through some examples here, as well as some couples examples about what to use. But again, just worth noting that when coding, you want to ensure you're only using the one unit per CPT code, and you use and pick the right CPT code or codes to explain the amount of time that's taking place. One other final thing I'll say from the outset before we go through some examples is it's a really good idea to call before you reach out to um, and conduct a extended session, because plenty of these extended sessions will not be reimbursed without a eligibility and benefits verification phone call. Something that we do over at TheraThink, and it's just a good idea in general to do eligibility and benefits review for your clients, but especially important for these cases that are atypical. Okay, let's dive into some examples. So your most common time-based codes are going to be individual therapy, psychotherapy for a set amount of time. You're going to want to use 90832 for any session that is between 16 and 37 minutes in length. Again, the average for this is going to be a 30-minute session. 90834 for anything from 38 to 52 minutes in length. And again, average is going to be a 45-minute session. Common misconception that you cannot bill for longer than that code in 2022. You most likely can bill for 90837 unless authorization is required. An eligibility and benefits verification phone call will help you understand that. Most often nowadays, though, commercial insurance policies do not require authorization for on average, 60-minute psychotherapy individual outpatient session. So 90837 would be if you are conducting sessions, 55 minutes in length, 60 minutes in length is going to be a great default CPT code to use for your practice, and one that we recommend for a lot of the clinicians that we work with who otherwise would be undercoding their sessions. Not only is it important for reimbursement, but it's also important for accuracy, which is really important if there is a audit for medical necessity. Making sure that you're coding your information as accurately as you possibly can, taking good notes, and updating your treatment plan will be great for making sure that you get through that audit with flying colors. Okay, so if you want to bill for 90 minutes or more, right, anything for an hour and a half up to 2 hours and just shy of 15 minutes, 2 hours and 14 minutes, you want to implement an add-on code. That add-on code is 99354. Okay, and the way that you're going to end up coding that, we'll scroll down to an example here, is by actually on the CMS 1500 form on section 24J, you're going to want to have a new line, and that new line will list that add-on CPT code for that date. You'll want to include the same place of service. You'll notice the units here are the same. And again, you just want to make sure that you're using that, right? You don't want to use 90837 with 1.5 units. You want to use both 90837 and 99354 with 1 unit each. Scrolling back up to the top here, excuse me, there we are. The same goes for even longer sessions. And again, the longer the session, the less likely, frankly, that reimbursement in full will be made without a prior eligibility and benefits verification phone call. So worth noting. Again, the base code here is 90837, and when you want to extend the length of a session beyond that 89 minutes, you're going to want to implement the add-on code 99354. If it's a longer than 2-hour and 15-minute session, you're going to want to use 99354 and 99355. And again, it's the same date of service, diagnosis pointer, units being 1, and so forth. Now, if you want to continue for an extra 30 minutes beyond that 4-hour, 2-hour, and 44-minute duration session, you want to repeat 99355. So this is a code specifically that enables you to, it's each additional as opposed to an additional. 99354 is an additional, and 99355 is each additional unit of length. A couple other add-on codes that are worth mentioning here: if there are services that are performed outside of normal business hours or planned and performed on evening, weekend, or holiday hours, you can use the add-on code 99050 and 99051. Those aren't for extended session descriptors. Those are to describe the times for which those appointments have been billed. So it's more of a context, but worth noting, you can potentially get paid more if you are providing services outside of normal business hours, or on what would typically be seen as harder to perform hours, right? Hours that aren't typically during the work week. The reason you would do that is that it benefits clients who otherwise are going to be working their job. So for 4.6 and 4.7, similarly, the couples and family therapy codes will be a set amount of time. Extending beyond that amount, you'll need to use an add-on code. So family and couples therapy lasts an hour and 19 minutes. Going beyond that will require you to use the add-on code 99354, and if you do exceed that extra time going beyond 2 hours and 4 minutes, you'll want to implement 99355, and moving on even more, 99355 yet again. Similar concept again here with the 99050 and 51. You can use those as add-on codes. Hypothetically, if you were to do a session for 3 hours and 36 minutes outside of normal business hours, you would want to use 99354, 99355, 99355, and 99050, all for the same date of service, of course, with the base code of 90846 or 47, depending on the circumstance. Let's just go quickly through the evaluation and management codes and the add-on codes here. They are different. Evaluation and management codes typically aren't denoted in time spent, but are rather denoted in complexity. So if you are using an add-on for psychotherapy outside of evaluation and management, then you can implement these codes. The add-on code for your intake session will be 90833, and that's going to be for an additional 30 minutes of therapy, and then 36 for 45. And likewise, you're going to want to use add-on codes on top of the 99205 or 215 for initial evaluation and management for high complexity cases, or ongoing evaluation management for high complexity cases. You will, for add-on time, want to use the appropriate 99415 and then potentially also 99416 if those sessions extend even beyond the extra 74 minutes of length. And again, you can go ahead and just Google extended session therapy billing TheraThink to find this page. It is worth noting that extended therapy will, in fact, get paid higher amounts. Here are some Medicare rates that are listed on the CMS website, Centers for Medicaid Services. So we didn't mention the crisis therapy add-on code, which is going to be 40, and that's going to be on top of the base code 90839. There is an add-on reimbursement rate for that one. So this quickly just shows you the reimbursement amounts. Now for evaluation management, again, these codes aren't coded around time, so the reimbursements aren't quite as high for add-on time. Those are coded based on complexity. And then 99050 and 51 are not covered by Medicare, but they may very well be covered by insurance over at your commercial insurance policy. One more quick look through the CPT codes here as an example. So, if you want to use 99355, you'll add it here on this extra line. Same unit 1, and so forth. So hopefully this has been instructive. You can find plenty of more information over at therathink.com. We have tons of billing guides, reimbursement rate information for psychiatrists and therapists. We have mental health CPT codes as well as psychiatry specifically, beginner's guides for billing, and then telehealth billing in particular. We also have some great tools that you can use, including a rate negotiation tool to draft a letter for negotiating your rates, a diagnosis finder, CPT code finder, intake form, a cheat sheet you can print out and keep above your desk or in the background of your workstation, so forth. So feel free, of course, to take advantage of any and all of these available resources. If you are looking for help with mental health billing in general and you'd rather not deal with any of this, feel free to reach out to us over at therathink.com/billing-service. You can also just click on mental health insurance billing service here at the top. And we'd be happy to connect, answer a phone call, set up a time to chat, and speak to your situation the best that we can. Maybe we can help and we'd be a good fit. Please do feel free to reach out. Alternatively, you can call us at our phone number at the top right of the page as well. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.